Shalom, friends. For Parshat Behar and Bechukotai, we have for each only one drasha in Eish Kodesh Toshin, 1940. We've spoken about them before, but I will say a small point from the drasha for Behar, which I don't think we've mentioned, and it kind of stands by itself as an interesting tangent. He asks why it is that the Jews in Egypt, before the Exodus, were already commanded to eat maror, to eat bitter herbs. We eat them at the Seder to remember the fact that our ancestors lived in bitterness in Egypt from the hard slavery. But why did they need to eat them? They were already enslaved. They were already feeling the bitterness. And it right away reminded me of something that's brought in the introduction to one of the Sfarim published by Professor Simcha Emanuel of Hebrew University, where he quotes his father who had been in a concentration camp, I don't remember which one, and at the Seder his father would say, when we were in the camp on the night of Pesach, we didn't have matzah, we didn't have wine, we didn't have agadas. What did we have? We just had lots of moror. We just had endless bitterness. That's what we had for our Seder. So to go back to the Piaseczner Rebbe, so he explains the following thing. It's a very simple idea, but it's very important. He says, it's important for people when they're still in the state of bitterness, before they've been redeemed, to have consciousness of that, to be aware of that, so that later, after the redemption, they won't take the redemption for granted. They'll still be deeply aware of the fact that they'd previously been in a state of bitterness. And not only that, but they'll remember the fact that when they were in a state of bitterness, in an unredeemed reality, that they cried out to Hashem, and they took upon themselves all Malchut Shamayim, to the yoke of serving Hashem, as part of the fact that they were in bitterness and crying out for Hashem's salvation. And that is very significant to remember also after the salvation. And therefore the Jews in Egypt were commanded to eat the maror even though they were in a state of maror. They needed to do something specifically to feel and remember the bitterness, so that after the redemption it would not be taken for granted that things had changed for the better. May we have endless changes for the better and good tidings. Shabbat Shalom, all the best, Kol Tuv.